Okay, I hope you're all ready for Tier 2 telemetry. Let's go!
3 hours later.
Alright, so here in Tier 2 telemetry, we're going to use a Python script to scrape information from the internet and then write it to a .txt file, which can then be pulled with FSQ and FLDigi. Additionally, we'll use crontab to run that Python script at regular intervals so that we always have an updated .txt file. So I've got a Python script all ready to go. It's going to scrape some news headlines, and people will be able to pull that. Now, I'm not terribly certain that this is going to be really useful on VHF, because with the distances that we're talking over with VHF, probably if I don't have cell service or internet, you don't have it either. But maybe this will be more useful over HF. You could adapt it to updating a net schedule or something that you have scraping from an internet website. I don't know. This is just a proof of concept video, and I'm really curious to see where you guys go with this, how you run with it, and how you adapt it to your needs. So let's dig in. Connect to the internet and open up a browser and navigate to tinyurl.com/pi-setup-checklist. This will bring up our setup checklist on the OneDrive, and the section we want is section 10, nearly all the way to the bottom, and sorry, sometimes it takes just a little bit to get there.
Many unbearable hours later.
Once you've located the correct section, find the link to the script, news.py, and here it is, and you'll see you can't mess this up. This is read-only. If you clicked in here and tried to mash the keys, it's not going to let you screw this up, but download it, and that'll put it into your downloads folder. We'll get this stuff out of the way here, and you'll see it here in the downloads folder. And we're going to right-click on this file after we open up the terminal, and we're going to copy the path. This eliminates some possibility for error here, because we're going to move this with sudo move, and we're going to paste this path in. We're going to move this into usr/bin. Very good. So let's go ahead and edit this file, and you'll see there's just a few customization sections here. First of all, for the website, you can see here I have it directed to light.cnn.com, and this isn't because I'm in love with CNN or anything. It's just for proof of concept, but you can change that to whatever website you need. And then down here is where you adjust where it begins scraping. So this first number is how many characters in you want it to start, because a lot of times there is stuff you don't need at the very beginning, like headers and stuff, and then this is where it ends. And so you can see I'm collecting in total 600 characters. I'm starting at character 75 and ending at 675. Now, in addition, if you have a different username than the default pi, you go down here with your arrow keys, and you will change it in this line here. I'm going to update this to my username. Hit Control X, Y, and enter to save. Now, this is where it's going to save the script, the text file when you run it. So let's do a test. We'll type in Python 3, and then the path to the file for the script. And it'll take just a second. And there it is. There's our news.txt file. And let's open it up, and you can see here it is. We've got the latest stories. We've got the first handful of headlines. It's not the entire page. We can't afford to transmit all of that. And then somewhere at the end, it's going to just clip off the last headline or something. It's just a dumb script. It's not going to be able to detect where a headline ends, but there we go. So we've generated some really good information here. So let's get into cron tab, and we're going to set this script to run once per hour. So you hit sudo cron tab -e, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I've already got it here. You can see I've got a little comment letting me know what that cron tab entry does. We start with a 0. We've got 4 asterisks, and that same pathway to this news.py script that we just entered into the terminal. This is going to update this news.txt file once per hour now. All of that work that you just saw was done on my home system, but now we've used an off-grid VNC connection to dial into my backpack, and we're going to use the backpack to pull that big file from my home. But first, we're going to need to establish that we actually have a connection with home. So I use that question mark SNR request command. And I'm speeding up the video so you don't have to sit through all of the boring parts, but here we go. We have a great connection with home. So I don't want to request the file just yet because this is a bigger file for FSQ. So I'm going to speed up my home's transmitter with the greater than symbol. I'm going to go from that normal 4.5 baud rate that I use to 6 baud. And this is going to minimize the amount of time my home's transmitter is spent transmitting and heating up and frying electronics. Now, we'll right click on the home station, go to read file from, and type in news.txt. And remember, FSQ can only pull from that one very specific folder if we know the file name. Now you'll see that I just opened up the monitor window. Now why did I do that? Well, FSQ has an issue. It will let you request a large file. It will send a large file, but anything larger than about 125 characters, it will not show it on your screen. And so we just have to deal with it. And look how great we're doing. We are so well informed right now. We are being good citizens, a good electorate. We are staying apprised of all of the political vomit that CNN peddles as news, and we're getting the information across. So if we have to use the monitor, so be it. Now, once we're done getting all of that information, all of those news headlines, we want to return the transmitter to its normal baud rate. And we're going to use the lesser than symbol. But look, we're hitting that glitch again. We talked about this in the last video. When you are sending and receiving files, sometimes you can get a glitch. Just go down to that bottom right corner, that T/R button, and punch it, and it will clear the glitch, and you'll be able to return back to that normal keyboard to keyboard chat mode that FSQ does so well.
1,000 years later.
Easter egg, YouTubers! Okay, so FSQ is terrible with those large files, but did you know you can still pull text file telemetry with any other FL Digimode, including the old-fashioned ones like Hellschreiber? It just takes a little bit more setup. So here's a glimpse at a future video, and I'm going to show you how you can set up your notifications so you can start pulling text file telemetry with your favorite FL Digimode. So here we are back in FSQ. And I like to leave my RxID on so I can move my home station and other stations all around to different modes. But if you're on a shared frequency with lots of other people, maybe that's not such a great idea. So we'll create a custom text search notification for change Thor 100 home. And I've gotten into the habit of making all of these commands in caps just so that I don't have any chance of accidentally typing something that it would trigger off of in FSQ because I normally use lowercase. So we'll start off by telling the system to wait for 10 seconds. That'll give us time to change the mode ourselves. We're going to type in modem, Thor 100. And this is kind of fun. We're going to make it transmit and let us know that it's on frequency, on that new mode after it switches. So standing by on Thor 100, and then we'll ID, and then RX, back to receive. We're going to click add, and it will drop it there at the bottom of the list. Now, we need the command to send the news. How about send news home? And we'll start by telling the system to wait for about 5 seconds. That gives my remote station time to finish IDing and finish its transmission. So we'll start by transmitting, and we're going to use this really cool macro file, and then we just need the file path. So let's open up that very special folder where FSQ normally pulls from, where we would typically pull it with FSQ, but we're going to copy the file path out of that since that's where it just lives anyway, and we'll paste it right in there and close bracket there. And we'll finish it off by telling it to receive. And you know what? We probably should ID just for good measure. So let's type in our call sign. Now, after we get that big file, we probably want to switch back to FSQ, and FSQ does not support TXIDs. It will RxID, but it won't TXID. So we're going to set up a command to send it back, and we can do something fun with that too. So we're going to tell it to wait for 5 seconds again, just to let us finish IDing. We're going to transmit. It's going to say, I'm going to switch back to FSQ now. And then we'll ID. Whoops. And then back to receive. Now, here's something really cool. We're going to put an exclamation point here in front of modem. This tells the system to not switch modes immediately, but to wait until the very end of that script when it encounters that exclamation point modem. If you didn't put that exclamation point in there, it would just switch it right off the bat and it wouldn't transmit first. So let's hop on over to the backpack and I'll show you what that looks like from the other side. Okay, now we have the view from the remote station from my backpack portable system. So I am going to type in all caps that command, change Thor 100. I want to flop it over to that lightning fast, forward error correcting Thor 100 mode. And you'll recall the notification we set up on my home system told it to wait for, I think, 10 seconds. That's going to give us time after this transmits to hop on over to Thor 100 ourselves, and you'll see here in a moment. It's pretty cool. It'll let us know that it's on mode. It's ready to go. Let's give it just a couple seconds here. Way nerdy cool. All right, now let's get that news file. Of course, we can't hit the enter button with the other modes. We're going to have to hit that TX button up there, that macro. Okay, and got a little bit of a pause. That's good. We want to pause. And here it comes. The latest stories. Oh, we're so informed. How wonderful. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Why are we reading this news? This is awful. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's switch back to FSQ. Fire that off. There we go. It's going to let us know it's changing. And now is our cue to switch back. Now, I've noticed it will just automatically ID once it switches over there. But we can start interacting with our system on FSQ just like normal, just like before. And how cool is that?